Hey, Ridley here, and welcome to the poll list for June 3rd, 2015, presented by Longbox Radio. First up from DC Comics, we have The Dark Side War, Part 1. This is the first issue, of course, after their Convergence event, where they kind of reset the New 52 into an amalgam of things they liked from their New 52 run, and then bring back all the old stuff as well. That's my understanding of what happened. Anyways, kind of a re-establishing of the characters here. They kind of run down the Justice League. We learn all about them, learn about the new members, of which there are a couple. We're introduced to Miracle Man, some of Darkseid's lieutenants and whatnot, that are very busy hunting down a particular individual, and you learn why by the end of this issue. So, cool stuff. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty strong issue. Some really cool parts in it. When it's introducing the Justice League again, it shows a panel of each of them and kind of like a real quick glimpse at their origin story. I thought that was actually really well done. Dug this one. So going forward with Justice League, I mean, this is how the New 52 Justice League started too, just except they were introducing all the characters one by one, and then we're meeting each other. So, NonPlayer number 2. This is a really cool book. The first issue of this came out 2 or more years ago from Nate Simpson, and after that I think it was optioned for a television show, and just the second issue just never happened. Until now, it kind of snuck, again, I don't look at previews, so kind of snuck onto store shelves as far as I was concerned. So I didn't go back and read the first issue. What I remember of it is we have a organization that has made a very rich and robust MMO virtual reality world. In this issue, we learn that we learn a little more about the background there and how the AI subroutines work and how they've been audited before, and there's a lot of conspiracy around whether or not they're breaking the law with what they've created. There is a terrorist cell, and they hijacked one of these like kind of crazy, I guess they're like SWAT robots, and into a fish market, and we have some cops that to bring them down. So also kind of establishing the outside world of the MMO, which reminded me a lot of Husk, if anybody read Husk from Marvel. Cool stuff. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on in this book. The art's gorgeous. The story's told in a way that's very intriguing. You want to see what happens next. A lot of weird stuff going on. I recommend NonPlayer for the 2 issues. The first issue is going to be nearly impossible to find. I think they reprinted it with the release of issue 2. Check it out. If you're looking for a new book to read, hopefully the issues are a little more, you know, commonplace, not once every 2 years, but check it out. It's good stuff. The Wicked and Divine. So this was, as you can tell by the cover here, not a lot of people survive in this particular issue of The Wicked and the Divine. Inanna, I guess is the name. When you see it spelled, and your brain kind of makes something up when you say it out loud. So Inanna and Lori are hot on the trail of what really happened to Lucifer. Lori, of course, still under the you know, a little upset that she didn't inherit Lucifer's powers. Bada bing, bada boom. Baphomet's on his killing spree, and at the end there's of course another twist as well, which I'm sure we'll see certain characters reappear and get their revenge. At least I hope so. But that's The Wicked and the Divine. I don't want to give too much more away from it than that, but it's been good. Kieran Gillen, Jane McKelvey. They also have not next month, but August. Phonogram, the third series is coming out. So if you dig these guys, check that out as well. So I didn't get the regular Amazing Spider-Man this week, but I did get the Amazing Spider-Man #1, Renew Your Vows. And what this is another domain of Battleworld in the Secret Wars. Peter Parker is living with Mary Jane. They have a kid. He's noticing that, hey, a lot of rogues are showing up, and, you know, Daredevil, Iron Fist, these guys aren't showing up to do it. He learns later from the Avengers that heroes are just straight up disappearing, and that's not good. So we have a Regent who is able to absorb the powers of superheroes. Spider-Man's all set to go fight with the Avengers and try to take this guy down when they learn that the Raft has actually, there's been a mass breakout at the Raft, including Eddie Brock Venom. Of course, like an alternate what-if storyline of Spider-Man, so in this case, Eddie Brock is still Venom. So, sure enough, Venom goes straight for Mary Jane and his kid. Spider-Man kind of gives it his all, is not the Spider-Man we usually recognize, and is kind of pulling all the stops just to get rid of Venom, which is personally one of my favorite Spider-Mans, when he gets rid of that whole no-killing thing just to get things done, but I understand why it has to be the other way. Anyways, he drops a burning building on Venom, which is one of his weaknesses, and that's the end of Eddie Brock Venom as far as we know, but now we're living in a world where Regent has wiped out the X-Men, wiped out the Avengers. There are no superheroes left. Spider-Man has taken to living his life just as Peter Parker, Dad, and that's it. We'll see where it goes from there. So I think Renew Your Vows has less to do with the fact that, hey, it's a story where him and Mary Jane are married, and more from the fact that he has to be Spider-Man again, and he's going to be Spider-Man in a world where there's no other superheroes, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to stick on this one. I think there's a few more issues coming. Secret Wars #3. Holy smoke. Jonathan Hickman still delivering it on Secret Wars. So Dr. Strange, Sheriff Strange, whatever you want to call him, he knows of the other pod that crash land, and he finally decides to open it. And of course, who pops out of it? But all the heroes who have been in stasis all this time, that to them has seemingly been only a few hours. To everybody in the Battleworld universe, of course, it's been 8 years. There's a really cool scene in this where Dr. Doom's talking to Susan Storm and just saying, like, hey, you know, I created this, and clearly I'm just a flawed human at the end of the day. Like, I am not a god. I am now, but when I created this whole world, like, I put together what was most important to me, you know, is what you see. Everything else is just a pile of garbage, really, and he admits it. And he's like, I should have taken myself out of the world and just kind of, like, you know, people could worship me based on fate. I shouldn't have still continued to exist. But, of course, a type like Dr. Doom or any villain wants to see the fruits of their labor, their you know, their kingdom, etc. It's a really, really cool scene, actually. Some cool dialogue back and forth. Other than that, we have the Cabal that's hanging out kind of in the barren wastelands of the Utopia, I guess it's called. And they're set upon by the Thor forces. We have the good guys kind of being brought up to speed on what's happening with Battleworld and what they can do from there. Miles Morales survives hidden in the Cabal ship. And it's because of him being a good guy that he says, hey, I remember the times before. Sheriff Strange is like, oh crap, I should really open that other pod I found like 3 years ago. And they go and do that. And of course, Reed Richards and Black Panther and all those guys are in there. Or, you know, Peter Parker again. So anyways, good stuff. Secret Wars is fantastic. Pick it up. 3 issues in. Real cool crossover event. Has all the familiar faces you're looking for. Doing it right compared to what DC just did a couple months ago. So, there's free digital codes for Amazing Spider-Man, Renewing Your Vows, and Secret Wars #3. You can look for those after the episode. Other than that, that is it for the pull list this week. We'll talk to you again next week.